You have probably heard people around you say many times, you need to learn hundreds, even thousands of words, otherwise you can't speak English. Because of this, most English learners try to memorize vocabulary non-stop. But do you really need to learn thousands of words? I honestly don't think so. Well, what if I told you that you can build hundreds of sentences with just 4 words? You might think that sounds impossible, but it's actually true. So without wasting any more time, let's start with our first word. The verb get. If you understand get, you already understand a huge part of spoken English. Most learners think get means only one thing, receive. But native speakers don't see it that way. For them, get is not a word, it's a movement. Think about this. When something changes, English uses get. You don't say, I became tired, you say, I got tired. You don't say, I became angry, you say, I got angry. And you don't say, I became better, you say, I got better. See the pattern? Get is the verb of change. And this is why it's everywhere in real English. You get ready, you get bored, you get confused, you get nervous, you get comfortable. Native speakers don't stop to think, which verb should I use for emotional change? They just say get and move on. Now let's go deeper. Get also means receive, but in a very natural way. You get a message, you get an email, you get a call, you get a reply. Not I received a call. That sounds formal. Spoken English prefers get. And here is where learners struggle. Because instead of saying, I got the idea, they try to remember something like, I comprehended the concept. That thinking kills fluency. Get is also about arriving or reaching. You get home, you get there, you get back, you get to work. Again, no grammar stress, no advanced vocabulary, just movement. And there is one more powerful use, get for understanding. I don't get it. Do you get what I mean? Or, oh, I get it now. This is one of the most common phrases in English, and many learners avoid it because it feels too simple. But simple is not weak, simple is fast. Now let's talk about take. In real English, take means to perform, to use, to accept, and to move through an action. Native speakers use take when something is intentional. Let me show you. You don't say I rested, you say I took a break. Or you don't say I showered, you say I took a shower. You don't say I looked, you say I took a look. But why? Because take turns actions into simple, fast expressions. And this is why spoken English loves it. Now think about daily life. You take a seat, you take a walk, you take a nap, you take a chance maybe. All of these are actions, but English doesn't describe them with complex words. It just uses take. And here's something important. Take is also about accepting something mentally or emotionally. You take advice, you take responsibility, you take it seriously, or you take it personally. Not I accepted responsibility. That's slow, that's formal. Fluent English chooses speed. Take is also used when something affects you. For example, this job takes a lot of time. It takes energy, it takes effort. Again, no fancy verbs, just take. And here is the mistake learners make. They try to build sentences like, this task requires a significant amount of effort, instead of saying, this takes a lot of effort. Same meaning, but one flaws, the other freezes your brain. Our third verb is make. Most learners think make means only one thing, to create. But in real English, make is not about creation, it's about results. Native speakers use make when something causes an outcome. Let me show you. You don't say, this decision caused me to feel confused. You say, this decision made me confused. Or you don't say, this movie caused me to laugh. You say, this movie made me laugh. You don't say, this comment caused me to think. You say, this comment made me think. See what's happening? Make connects cause and effect instantly. And this is why it's everywhere in spoken English. You make a mistake, you make a progress, you make a decision, you make an effort. Not because English lacks better verbs, but because make keeps things simple and fast. Now here's something powerful. Make is also used for communication. You make a point, you make a promise, you make a suggestion, you make a comment. Learners often freeze because they think, which verb should I use here? But fluent speakers don't think like that. They think, I want a result, and if there is a result, make works. Now let's talk about emotions. Make is one of the strongest emotional verbs in English. He made me angry. She made me feel confident. That song made me emotional. Or this class made me comfortable speaking. Notice something. The speaker doesn't describe the emotion deeply. They describe the effect. That's real communication. And now, the biggest fluency hack. Instead of memorizing verbs like improve, decide, influence, or motivate, you can often just use make. Make it better. Make a choice. Make an impact. Make me want to try. This is not bad English. This is natural English. And the last verb is have. Most learners think have is about ownership. I have a car, I have a house. But spoken English almost never stops there. In real life, have means experience. And that changes everything. You have a problem. You have an idea. You have a feeling. You have a moment. These are not things you own. These are things you go through. Native speakers don't stop to choose special verbs like experience, encounter, feel, consider. They just use have and keep talking. Now look at daily life. You have breakfast. You have lunch, you have coffee. Not I ate breakfast, not I consumed coffee. That sounds robotic. Spoken English prefers have because it feels natural and human. Now listen carefully. Have is also used for situations. I'm having a bad day. We are having a me day. I'm having trouble understanding this. They're having fun. Again, no complex structure, just have plus noun. And here's a big one. Have for health and problems. I have a headache. I have a cold. I have pain. I have stress. Learners often search for medical or emotional verbs. Fluent speakers don't. They say have and move on. And now the most powerful part. Have lets you speak without choosing a word. Instead of memorizing suffer, experience, enjoy, or struggle, you say, I'm having difficulty. I'm having a great time. I'm having doubts. I'm having issues. Your sentence comes out, your brain stays relaxed. This is why have is everywhere in conversations. So here's the truth. You don't need hundreds of verbs to speak English fluently. You don't need to memorize lists, and you definitely don't need to sound advanced. Fluent English is built on a few verbs used well. Think about it. You get tired. You take a break. You make a decision. You have a moment. That's not beginner English. That's real English. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.